welcome back to the Crypto Saving Expert Daily News Show, where we keep you up to date with the latest cryptocurrency news and talk about the prices of the different cryptocurrencies as well. You will have to excuse me today, I'm full of cold, so I might be a bit sniffly, but we need to look at the recent news. First of all, let's take a look at CoinMarketCap and see what's happening. So Bitcoin is up at $17,800. We've seen a nice pump and we've seen some volatility in the market for the first time in a very long time, and this is off the news that SBF was arrested. Bitcoin really did like that news, and I like that news too. Also, we're looking at Ethereum at $1,323. So before we get into today's news, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We saw this nice big pump, and now we're looking at the 2-hour chart for Bitcoin, and it's looking like we could see a bit more of price movements within these levels. So we're at $17,800. The MACD is looking like it could tick into bearish momentum, and the RSI is looking that it is slightly overbought, but that is bound to happen after we see a big pump like these. These indicators are going to show these results, so we may just see some price movement in the same direction or around these levels for a couple of hours now. But moving on into the cryptocurrency news, if you want to ask any questions, make sure to do that before the end, and we will read through the live chat at the end of today's video and answer some questions. Good morning, Player One and Hamzak and CZR. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so that you can stay up to date with the news. We do these every single day, and someone is saying we can see Bitcoin today going to $18,500. I hope so. That would be very nice. We're seeing a little bit more positivity coming into the cryptocurrency markets finally. But let's take a look at today's news. First of all, we have Coinbase report. Law enforcement inquiries have increased by 66% in the last year. The team at Coinbase has noted that there was 12,320 law enforcement requests for information in the last year, a 66% increment in the same period. Global law enforcement agencies are ramping up their efforts to monitor and detect crime in the crypto and blockchain industries. I'm not having a good day with my reading today. According to the team at Coinbase, there were 12,320 requests for information by the law enforcement between October the 1st, 2021 and September the 30th, 2022, a 66% increment from a similar period a year prior. So of the total requests, 5,300 were from the United States, 57% of the total inquiries were from outside the US, which was a 6% increment from a year prior. 80% of the law enforcement requests were from the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, and Spain. So moving on from all of the statistics, as the main reason global law enforcement agencies contacted the exchange, Coinbase explained that it was in connection with criminal enforcement matters. The Coinbase team was, however, quick to clarify that the exchange does not give any government in any jurisdiction, including law enforcement or other government agencies, direct access to customer information or any third-party systems. The team explained that Coinbase has a trained team of lawyers, analysts, and other experts who focus on evaluating each law enforcement inquiry and determining any appropriate response. Moving on now to the next article, we have the news about SBF. He was arrested, he tried to get bail, and he failed. Now we have this article, the US SEC charges SBF with defrauding investors through FTX. The United States SEC has charged SBF founder and former CEO of bankrupt crypto exchange of organizing a scheme to defraud investors through his company. According to a press release, SBF promoted FTX as a safe crypto trading platform since its inception in 2019, while synchronizing billions of dollars from investors. FTX's hedge fund. Jesus, I'm just not saying the words today I want to say today. FTX's headquarters in the Bahamas raised about $1.8 billion from equity investors and $1.1 billion from 90 US-based investors, most of which were mishandled before the firm's bankruptcy. The SEC's complaint alleges really, I'm not saying the words that I want to say. Let's read the chat first before we try and carry on this. John Chambers says you're a lot more relaxed now. I am, but I'm really messing up my words. Jason Smith says evening from Australia. That's pretty cool. Hola, Florence. My name is not Florence. People keep calling me Florence in the chat. Bonjour, Jeremy Russell. Anyway, let's try again with the news, and I'll try and say it correctly this time. The SEC's complaint alleges that SBF orchestrated a years-long fraud to hide the diversion of customer funds to his trading firm, Alameda Research, from investors. He also disclosed the special treatment given to Alameda, including an unlimited line of credit and exception from some FTX risk mitigation measures. Someone said slow down a bit. I keep speaking too fast, so please let me know in the live chat if I speak too fast again. Furthermore, the filing accuses the former CEO of concealing risk caused by FTX's exposure to Alameda's significant holdings of overvalued illiquid assets like the FTX token FTT and other FTX-affiliated crypto assets. The complaint also alleges that SBF used users' funds to make secret venture investments, large political donations, and purchase real estate properties. Now, we all knew this news was going to come to light. We have heard rumours of this in the last couple of weeks, and it's good to see that these charges are being pressed. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, commented on the case. We allege that Sam Bankman-Fried built a house of cards on a foundation of deception whilst telling investors that it was one of the safest buildings in crypto. The alleged fraud committed by Bankman-Fried is a clarion call to crypto platforms that they need to come into compliance with our laws. Now, this FTX news is actually, we've seen the most mainstream media coverage than I have ever seen in cryptocurrency. I actually watched quite a long report on this on the BBC News last night, and that is the most coverage I've seen for crypto. Usually, we just get the news on the mainstream media that Bitcoin is going down, and then they quickly move on and try and just make the whole industry seem like it's a huge scam, but they actually went into quite a big detail about this. Yes, it is more negative news that they are reporting on, but we're seeing more mainstream coverage, and that is important for the industry. Someone commented, "Are you a Scouser?" Yes, I am. Jordan is here. That's a different one. Let's move on with today's news. Anyway, FTX hearing will continue without SBF following his arrest in the Bahamas. So the FTX does have a new CEO, and he is trying to help users get some of their funds back. We're looking at this according to a press release. Congresswoman Maxine Waters, chairwoman of the committee, disclosed that the hearing would be held starting with testimony from FTX's new CEO, John Ray. A few days ago, Sam Bankman-Fried revealed on Twitter that he was willing to testify during the hearing after much threat and persuasion from Waters. He initially argued that because he did not have access to personal and professional data, his testimony would be limited and he would not be as helpful as he'd like. However, the former CEO later said he would attend the hearing, revealing that he would do so remotely. He noted that it would be better for him to testify from the Bahamas, where FTX is headquartered, as moving would be complicated due to the paparazzi. Unfortunately, the former billionaire was arrested Monday night in the Bahamas due to criminal charges filed by US prosecutors. So this is the day before the hearing was meant to take place, so that means he can't make this discussion. The Royal Bahamas Police Force is detaining him as orders for his extradition are likely to be issued. So since this news, he's requested bail, and that did get denied. Someone's commented, crypto saving expert, your news is awesome. Thank you very much. If you are enjoying these live streams, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want more news in your email box, put your email in to the landing page, cryptosavingexpert.com, and you will get a newsletter every single Tuesday with the latest news. And if you want even more news than that, make sure to check out our Twitter and our Instagram, where we post news every single day, keeping you up to date in preparation for the site going live, which is looking very, very exciting. So again, make sure to sign up on our website, cryptosavingexpert.com, so that you can be one of the first users of the very impressive site that is looking very good right now. We've just had a Teams call and it's looking really nice, and it will be what we will use in these live streams going forward. As soon as the site is live, we'll be using all the news. We'll be looking at the news on the website. We'll be looking at many different things that I don't think we've disclosed yet on the website. So we'll look at that on the live streams as well. Moving on to the next article, Bitcoin blasts past $17.6 thousand on lower than expected 7.1% US inflation data. And I believe the UK has seen lower than expected inflation data as well, and this is positive. Bitcoin and the crypto markets are again in the green due to the US inflation data coming in lower than expected. Earlier today, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the Consumer Price Index, CPI, rose by 0.1% in November, after increasing by 0.4% in October. In addition, the annual CPI came in at 7.1%, a considerable drop from the last month's 7.7%. And that was the smallest 12-month increment since the period ending December 2021. And following that news, Bitcoin broke past the $17.6 thousand resistance level. We'll take a look at that at the chart again in a moment, but let's continue on to the next article. Someone commented she does TA as well. Have we got any questions in the chat? Make sure to put questions in the chat and then we'll answer those at the end of the video. Moving on to the next piece of article, it's about Sam Bankman-Fried again. He is filling all of the news because it is very important. We're seeing some justice within the cryptocurrency industry. SBF, FTX, Alameda sued by the CFTC for commodities law violations. Someone commented, Jess, you're doing a bang-up job with your presenting. I wish I could say the words I wanted to say. Thank you very much. The US Commodity Futures Trading Commission has today announced a lawsuit against Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX Trading Limited, and FTX.com, and Alameda Research filed at the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. The CFTC is charging the three entities with the violations of two existing commodities laws and regulations. We are seeing all of these charges going towards Sam Bankman-Fried right now, and it's good to see this happening because we've seen Do Kwon, he's just been swanning around. He's currently in Serbia, but he's not had the charges that he should have had by now put onto him. So we need to see this happen. We need to see repercussions coming to those involved in these huge faults within the cryptocurrency industry so that we can create a better industry. Moving on to the next article. Sam Bankman-Fried blames Binance CEO for FTX's collapse and claims CZ played him. So I don't know if many of you will remember, I'm sure you will, just before FTX collapsed, Sam Bankman-Fried actually reached out for CZ and asked for help. CZ and Binance took a look at the FTX company and decided that wasn't action that they were willing to take. But SBF has We'll start that again. SBF, the founder and CEO of FTX, has continued to blame CZ of Binance for the downfall of FTX, despite reports that confirm SBF mismanaged users' funds. In an interview with Forbes before his arrest yesterday, SBF told Stephen Ehrlich, Director of Research for Forbes Digital Assets Unit, that CZ was the mastermind behind the fall of FTX. That's a huge accusation to make. FTX was valued at $32 billion and to take out a major rival in the market. SBF said, "My guess is he played me, and he played it well. I think he probably did better than he thought he would. I don't think he thought this was going to be the outcome. I think he thought it was going to be damaging, but not this damaging." Now, that is a huge accusation to make. While it was unclear what game the former FTX CEO was referring to, CZ had earlier on November the 6th disclosed that Binance would liquidate its FTT position, which the company obtained last year from the firm before the bankruptcy. The disclosure spouted concerns from investors and the cryptocurrency community over the health of FTX. A few days later, the company started sinking, and Bankman-Fried reached out to Binance for a potential acquisition. So, I feel like Sam Bankman-Fried right now is playing the victim a little bit. I don't want to put too much of my own opinions out there. I'm trying to just report the news and then you can make your own conclusions from this. But I think that is playing the victim a little bit. He's being charged with so many different crimes right now. And CZ is in every right to decide he wants to back out of an investment that Binance has made if he wants to. Yes, it did have an effect on the company and maybe did trigger some sort of downfall internally. However, CZ was perfectly in his own right to. Taking a look back at the chat, Josh said, "Great stream, Jess. Thank you very much." John said he's just trying to throw CZ under the bus to cover his own arse. Maybe, probably. Moving on to the next article here. Tether to reduce secured loans in its reserves to zero after Wall Street Journal expose. And that is some positive news for the industry. This has been going on an ongoing issue in the cryptocurrency markets for literally years. Tether, we want it to be backed one-to-one with the dollar, but it has had its reserves in different assets and different papers that we haven't really truly believed are a full backing. But now they are looking to change their reserves in a better way. So, stablecoin company Tether plans to reduce the size of its secured loans in its reserves to zero next year after the Wall Street Journal reported that the company held $6.1 billion of the loans in its balance sheet. Tether, the issuer of the popular stablecoin of USDT, has stated that it plans to reduce secured loans on its reserves to zero throughout the next year. The company acknowledged that the events of the last few months in the crypto markets have shaken the industry and there was a need to restore faith in the market. The team at Tether further pointed out that the company and USDT have been resilient in the last 8 years and during some of the most turbulent market conditions. Unlike countless parties that have gone bankrupt or are facing bankruptcy risks on the back of widespread fraud, leverage, and bad risk management, Tether has prioritized transparency, accountability, and operational excellence above all else. So USDT has come under a lot of negative press recently, and for a huge amount of years, really. As long as I can remember, Tether has been questionable. A lot of people do prefer to use other stable coins. I think Binance has started to push BUSD a lot more, and Coinbase has started to push Circle USDC a lot more in recent months because of the fear about USDT. Now, if USDT were to go bankrupt, to depeg or anything like the sorts, that would be a huge issue for the cryptocurrency space. That would be just as bad, in my opinion, as Binance going bust. That would be a huge, huge issue, but they have managed to hold up this long, and they're making steps in the right direction to create their reserves and make that more stable. They have tried to be transparent in the past, but when they've tried to be transparent, they've showed things that have caused a lot of negative press. But hopefully USDT can get their reserves in order and stay afloat for the sake of the whole cryptocurrency industry. Further on in this article, Tether had not disclosed loans issues in USDT, according to a Wall Street Journal. The announcement by Tether regards plans to reduce the amount of secured loans on its reserves to zero comes 2 weeks after the Wall Street Journal reported that the company has increasingly been lending its own coins to customers rather than selling them for hard currency up front. The Wall Street Journal added that the loans had appeared for several quarters in its financial reports, with the most recent indicating $6.1 billion as of September 30th, 2022. Similar loans had reached $4.1 billion at the end of 2021. So moving on now from these articles onto the questions, somebody has asked, what's the difference between NFTs and cryptocurrency? NFTs are non-fungible tokens and cryptocurrencies are fungible tokens. So non-fungible tokens means that every token is different and they're not like for like. So if I have two NFTs, I can't just swap them and then be the same. If you have an NFT and I have an NFT and we swap, they could both have different values. If you have one Bitcoin and I have one Bitcoin and we swap, we both still have one Bitcoin. They're worth the same value. So that's the major difference between the two. Any other questions in the chat? He's been trying to, we've already read that question. Jonathan said he's crying about being played after he played everyone else, including Luna, allegedly. Yeah, very true. That seems like all the questions in the chat. Let's take a look back at the Bitcoin price. We're at $17,800 still. The price is looking pretty calm this morning. We really haven't seen much movement since that pump off the news of SBS being arrested. Maybe we'll see some nice movement towards the later on in this week, but to stay up to date with the cryptocurrency news and the Bitcoin price and some chart analysis as well, make sure to stay tuned on these live streams. Like, subscribe, press the bell notification, and if you go onto our channel right now, you can press notify me on the live streams for the rest of the week. Someone's commented, I'm a fan of Crypto Saving Expert, thanks for the work and effort. Thank you very much for tuning in and being a supporter of our work. We are very, very excited to go live in 2023. So thank you very much for watching, and head over to our YouTube homepage now and press notify me so that you definitely get notified for the live streams for the rest of the week. Thank you very much for watching.